if you would like to pay privately, what coin you will use it?
I would most likely use Penumbra. I think Celestia is the future.
Okay, Ryan, I think I can give you $1 million. And what are you going to do with that 1 million?
I think that the highest returns right now are going to be on Penumbra, which you can still get for under $1, which is crazy to me. You know, technology is now available for the first time ever.
But if I give you $1,000 right now, what coins you will buy and in proportion? Atom, Tia, and Ethereum.
I'm never touching Atom. Atom's a terrible idea.
When I saw your video, I just understand three things. Something wrong with WhatsApp. It's not safe. You're doing something better and you need some money. Correct.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, so I can go into a bit more detail there. Yeah, there's something wrong with WhatsApp, but it's not only WhatsApp. It's actually every single end-to-end encrypted messenger. So this includes Signal, this includes WhatsApp, includes iMessage. All of these apps have a fundamental problem in how they're built.
Most of the time we use Telegram for Russian, Ukrainians. So if you would like to say something about messengers, try to use as example Telegram, okay?
Telegram is actually another good example of a messenger that has zero privacy. People use it, of course, because the user experience is so good. I mean, like everybody loves the UX of Telegram, but it has no security, and there's not really a big reason for why it can't. Probably because a big way that they make their money is by selling user data for advertisements and such, but that's of course just speculation. These apps all have an issue with how they implement this, and it's not that it's end-to-end encryption itself, because end-to-end encryption is fine there. When you send a message, it's encrypted, and so they can't read it, right? The issue is that there's two parts of the system that need to be working in order for it to actually be private. One of them is the end-to-end encryption. So that means I know a public key, that's your public key if I'm trying to talk to you, so I can use that to encrypt my message. Then it will get sent to the messaging server, so like let's say Telegram servers, and then Telegram servers will send it to you. Or, you know, your own private key, you can decrypt the message. There's obviously a few extra layers of cryptography on top of that, but that's generally how it works. And this part works fine. This works great. The issue comes in when we think about the second component here, and that is the key directory. So how can you verify that the service gives you the public key for the person you're trying to talk to? So if you're trying to talk to me, let's say over Signal, you request my public key from Signal so you can encrypt your messages for me to read them. But they can trick you. They can actually send you one of their own key pairs, and then when they receive the message, they simply just decrypt it. They can modify it if they want, and then they encrypt it with your real public key and send it further. And this is the case with all of these messaging apps, and it's what Prism fixes.
Can you give me an example? Because without example, we can do anything. For example, how this thing hacker can use it against me? Just use simple example. Okay. For example, is it possible if I send to you, you're my friend, and you said, please create a wallet for me, and I create a wallet for you and put some money on it and send the seed phrase through Telegram to you. Is not safe it?
I mean, especially over Telegram, because Telegram doesn't even have end-to-end encryption. So I know Telegram is a widely known example here, but they're actually the worst because they can see the contents, Telegram itself can see the contents of every message that is sent. Even more in apps where end-to-end encryption is, like Signal, their promise or their claim is that they can't read it, but they could trick it. If a hacker got access to their systems, they could single out specific individuals and carry out this attack. So it's a targeted attack. Somebody would have to want to look at your messages And this actually happens very often. In 2013, Edward Snowden unveiled the mass surveillance program of the NSA, which not only spied on American citizens, but citizens of all countries all around the world. And that was called PRISM, this mass surveillance system.
1 second. So if you use iMessage and Telegram, you mean they not only can be hacked and use it against us, this is very dangerous, but also they always hear what we said. You're talking about this?
If they want to do it for a specific individual, they can carry out this attack. Yes. There are some, they can't do it like for everybody all at once. They can, this attack you have to think of in terms of government surveillance. So they can comply with these government requests, which they do. Then your messages are public. I mean, then they're just out there for anybody or for the government to be able to read.
It's I don't have any words about it.
It's really bad, and there is a solution for it, and it uses these snarks. It's based off of actually research that has been going on for decades now. And by the way, the same problem occurs for HTTPS in your browser. So when you're trying to connect to a website and you see, oh, your connection is encrypted and secure, often governments will target single individuals and give you a fake certificate so that it looks like you are having a secure connection to that site and it's encrypted when they're actually reading your info. And they do this, of course, to gain access to services that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. By reading out sensitive information that you enter on that page or such things. So this is another problem, and that one's called certificate transparency, and it's solved with the same technology.
So how are you guys going to fix it? Can you introduce yourself, or why you are going to do it in crypto? Why are you going to do it with Celestia?
So many people have wanted to do this before, but there's been some fundamental gaps in the technology that have made it possible. Essentially, there's research. One specific paper that we base our product heavily on is called Verdict. They needed a data availability layer. They, of course, didn't call it like this, but what you really need is a light client that can sit in your chat app. So that means that your chat app can talk directly to the Celestia network, and it needs a cheap data availability solution because you need to post evidence that you are behaving correctly to the chain, and then users verify this. The way it works more specifically is that all of these operations for key management that the service provider does. So let's say Telegram. You can verify this if you had specific mathematical proofs that they carried out these operations validly. And we simply make a zero knowledge proof every 10 or so seconds over these operations, and then light clients, so your chat apps or whatever apps, download the ZK proof and verify it. And by doing that, they can be certain that the person they are talking to is the person who Telegram says they are, for example. And this is a gap that wasn't there before. I mean, Signal and Telegram, they even say explicitly, we provide zero cryptographic guarantees that the person you are talking to is actually them. And this technology gets rid of that limitation. And we had to pick Celestia. It's only really possible on Celestia because Celestia has very soon WASM light clients. So this means that you can have nodes that run in the browser or in mobile applications in the background, and that is something that nobody else can provide today, and something that is very much on the release horizon. And we're working closely with the teams that are developing this. Yeah, people have tried it in 2015. back when DA wasn't a thing, and then they tried using Bitcoin-like clients or SPV clients, but it wasn't enough. It didn't work, and it was too expensive to use Bitcoin.
Do you have prototype? On what stage you are right now?
Yeah, so we bootstrapped this company for the past about 2 years, just me and my co-founder Sebastian, and we actually already have a testnet. So we are live. We have code that works. Anybody can verify the key directory. I have to add some instructions maybe to the GitHub on how you can connect to it, but it's there and it works, and we have a working proof of concept. And now the next stage is that we're going to we're going to go fundraising, see where that takes us, see if we need a token someday or not. We'll see.
Be careful with token. It's a trap.
No promises. Yeah, it is a trap. Likely for a very long while, we will use at least for sure TIA as our native token.
How can we help you? So we can. Where can you send me the link to you, to guys from your team, to the testnet? We can check it. So send me all links. Yeah. You can do it in the chat right now. Just send it, and I check. Maybe we'll do the guide for Russian speaking because you are talking about right things. I also don't like this shit, and we need to fix it. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and I like what you do, what you are guys doing. And it's a bit problem for raising money because you are trying to raise money in the space where investors just don't go to in this sector because maybe it's a little bit scary for them,
Well, we've had a lot of luck so far speaking to some funds. Celestia will likely also help us out a little bit, but we have to see. And there's a lot of reasoning behind it. I mean, if you think about it, this is not only for chats. This is for much more. It's a big thing. You can make key store rollups, which VCs are all over right now. You can create private rollups. If you watch Henry's talk from Modular Summit, Henry de Valence, I think is how you pronounce his last name, on dark rollups, you can build something like this on Prism, and it will just come down to execution. But there's a ton of value here, and it's already close to completion from an infrastructure point of view. I'm sending a few links in the chat in a second.
With how many investors did you speak, and more often, what answer did you get from them when then they say, no, thank you?
Well, we haven't gotten any that have said no, thank you yet. We've spoken to, I think 4 funds so far, and they've all been super helpful. I believe some of them aren't going to participate because they don't participate in pre-seed rounds, but they endorse the idea, and we won't have any issues getting funding. I'm confident there.
Maybe you're not so good in that. But why they should spend money on you, on your team? Can you explain? Like I'm Warren Buffett. I have a lot of money. Okay, so I have some millions, and I like privacy, and this is your time, please.
It depends on the angle. One of these angles is a chat application, right? You can absolutely make chat application that has a subscription service. I had many people come up to me after my talk at Modular Summit and say they would be willing to pay a monthly fee for something like this. You could actually also decentralize the prover with a token and have a prover network, incentivize the entity making the ZK proofs on our network while also decentralizing it. Then there's key store rollups, which is another form of rollup that is needed for chain abstraction, or not chain abstraction, but for good UX in the cross-chain ecosystem or universe, whatever you want to call it. And that's also monetizable. There's many apps that you can build on top that you can monetize very well. And this is just the infrastructure layer. While it may take some time to figure out how we're going to monetize the base layer itself, there are lots of parts of the open internet infrastructure that are funded by the people that run it, for example, Google. And I believe that it will be in Celestia's best interest to also fund this base layer while we can get some apps on top that accrue value back to it as well.
So you're going to build infrastructure layer, yeah? So somebody can build something on you, right?
Well, yeah, to be fair, the infrastructure layer is pretty much done. So now it's just building apps, and we're getting funding to build apps on top of the infrastructure layer that we've built.
So you said Celestia would like to invest in you. Is it true? Yes. So they give you some money?
We're still discussing with them, but I've been working at Celestia for the past 2 years as a contractor, and I'm very close with the team, and things seem to be going very well. I do believe that they will help us out there.
I believe you will get money. I hope you will get
we definitely
some.
Will. Yeah.
So a lot of projects works in the side of privacy. And for example, Penumbra, Zcash, do you think that it's better to you not to create what you would like to create and go to them and help them to build something special for sending messages, for example?
Unfortunately, the thing we're building cannot be built on something like Penumbra, and I'm a huge Penumbra fan, but the infrastructure just isn't there. It needs to just simply be a data availability layer that's cheap to use, and you can't do data availability on Penumbra. And that's why I think teaming up with Celestia will really help us out here.
Tell me, as big Penumbra fan, why are you big Penumbra fan?
It's just the first network of its kind in the Cosmos ecosystem, and I think it's one of those special cases of Cosmos that where the chain itself is kind of its own category. It's not really a Cosmos chain, it's Penumbra, and it interacts with the wider Cosmos ecosystem. And it doesn't really have huge competitors. And the level of privacy it offers is amazing. I mean, and it only grows as more and more people use it, of course.
Understood. What about Zcash or Monero?
Zcash is a great protocol, but they have a lot of their own issues. Even on the ZK front, they have a trusted ZK setup, meaning it's possible. I'm not saying this is the case, but it's possible that somebody that Zcash itself, the entity, could mint infinite tokens without anybody knowing. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible. There's been a lot of improvements in technology since then, and the UX of Zcash is quite bad because of its requirements on wallets. Of course, you need to sync it up yourself on your wallet. There's just quite a bit of friction there. I think that there are much better solutions today, especially some that are coming out soon, like Pay Network, Payy, that have amazing UX for private payments. And they're built on similar technologies that Prism is built on with the newest state-of-the-art ZK.
If you would like to pay privately, what coin you will use it?
If I want to pay someone privately right now, I would most likely use Penumbra. And then if I want to pay someone quickly and privately, I would use Pay. But ultimate privacy is Penumbra. But if I'm maybe someone that's not that into crypto, I would use Pay.
Okay, and you send me in the chat in Telegram or in chat in Discord. I don't see any message from.
Oh yeah, I was still collecting links. Hold on, I'm getting one more video from YouTube. This was back before we renamed our project, but the talk gives a much better overview than this call here, and I'm assuming they also have transcriptions which are automatically translated to Russian. So that talk is probably the best way to get up to speed on what we're doing.
Okay, so don't forget what you are talking with Warren Buffett. So how much money do you need?
I mean, it depends on how fast we want to build things and what exactly set of apps we're going to build first. So an undisclosed amount. But I think that we are going to try to raise quite a bit to get this off the ground because it's a big deal and it's pretty disruptive. It's a pretty disruptive technology that has a lot of potential. So I'm confident that the investors will see that as well.
I need the number. So 2 million, 3 million. I have a lot. So just tell me minimum and maximum.
I'll talk to you maybe outside of the call about it.
Okay. But the tendency that I'm talking with many teams, and most of the time they said we tired to speak with VC. We don't like them anymore, and we would like to take some money from communities like my community. And maybe why? How you think investors? They just do not invest anymore in company like your company. Why do you think they stop to do it?
I think it's overall market conditions that influence that quite a lot. And there's just a different incentive structure when a community funds it. There's different expectations there. There's different, like if we were to raise from your community, then I would say we need to talk to your community about what they think we should build first. And then we make a very reasonable suggestion to how much we think we would need to build it and be open and transparent. I mean, that's what this project is all about, is publicly verifiable transparency. So that's why I'm not stating any numbers right now. But in general, I think that these bigger firms, they're quite overloaded and they do go for the bigger fish in the pond. They try to see what can bring in the most, and it's a lot more difficult to do public goods funding. So it really depends on the type of company you're building that you'll get different responses from.
Yeah, understood. Most of the time they invest in people. So now we know Ryan, and we think he can do it. But what about if something wrong with Ryan? How many people in your team and how experienced they are?
So we built this ourselves, this infrastructure layer, just me and a friend from university. So it's just us two. We've been able to keep extremely low costs building this out. But we want to get people on now that are competent and able to help us lead this out. I mean, I wouldn't see it as a terrible thing if I do not stay in leadership of the company, right? Like CTO and CEO are just payable positions. They lead the company. And founders definitely need to be an active part of the decision-making process. But again, these are just like payable roles. And if you find somebody that is more experienced than you, then why would you not do what's best for your company, right? Our experience comes from various projects, crypto ecosystem over the past few years. We started out as smart contract developers on Ethereum. We've done protocol engineering for Celestia Labs. We've done some work for A16Z on their ZKVM Jolt, making that WASM compatible. So we're kind of all over the place. We have experience in a lot of things. And I think that this was how we were able to spot this market gap, that, technology is now available for the first time ever to enable research that is quite a bit older than the technology. We built it out, and now we're here. We'll see what happens when we try to fund the apps that get built on top, but that's a different story.
Okay, Ryan, I think I can give you $1 million. Okay, and what are you going to do with that 1 million? How much, what you will build on it, and how much time you need to build something?
I think if we had $1 million today, we would immediately start hiring 1 or 2 more developers. We don't need a ton to maintain the infrastructure layer. And then we would create a good marketing campaign, because like I said, the technology is pretty much already there to start building us up while we build an app so that Prism as a brand is known before our chat app comes out. And then we would probably either, after a bit of research, fork Telegram because it's under the MIT license and put in our service. So then you would have a chat app with the UX of Telegram with privacy that's better than Signal. And I think we could get proof of concept out pretty quickly, within 3 months to 6 months. That's proof of concept. I think finished app would take a lot longer. The first main version would take significantly longer, probably more like 8 months to a year. But up until then, who knows? Maybe we add points to the app, and so you can try to fight network effects that way. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things you can do. But in terms of a chat app, if that's what we were supposed to build, that's how I would go about it. More exploration, a lot of trial and error, but just, going very hard and very focused. Now that we have the technology that we need to build it, it's just a matter of plugging things together.
If you will not raise money, what will happen?
If we don't raise money, then we will probably release Prism as a public good, but not run the infrastructure ourselves for some other company that maybe has a better marketing strategy to go do it. I mean, the thing is everything we do is open source, and that has a reason. We are heavy supporters of the market, and we believe that if somebody can take our technology and make a better company, then we win, because then we have privacy. And this is something that everybody should have. So I think it's okay. As long as we're the first ones to make this possible and get it out there, then we have done our part. But we cannot sustain ourselves for more than, I don't know. We could keep working on it for quite a while, doing extra contract work, but we're not going to get anywhere quick enough. I think that there's a big opportunity to build something great, and we just can't do that as two developers. We're gonna need help, and that's why we want to raise. It's a matter of time.
Understood. Where you guys stay? You're from where?
I grew up in the US, but we work together in Germany, in the middle of Germany.
So now you're in Germany?
Yes. I moved to Germany because it was cheaper to go to university here, and then ended up staying.
What about company? Did you already open some? I mean, how Germany works with people like you? They are so bureaucratic.
Yeah, they're very bureaucratic, and it has been a little bit of a pain, of course, with business, but it's gone well. We have a company here called Delta Devs. I will send a link in the chat.
So you did already some paperwork, yeah, here?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we've had a company for over 2 years. So we've been through the rounds, and we've been working on this behind the scenes. This is just, we've mainly been doing B2B up until now. So this is kind of our first product, the first Delta Devs product that we decided is something that we need to make and get out there. And because of that, we no longer can do it alone and need funding to make this a reality.
Is it a good idea to build crypto company in Germany? How do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a lot better than in the US. It's a lot easier. The regulations are more clear.
So regulation crypto company is much better than in US or Canada. Yeah,
absolutely. In the US, it's like a joke there. It's like the opposite of freedom when it comes to starting crypto companies. I would never start a crypto company in the US.
Okay, how do you think why German government sold all Bitcoins? Why did they do it?
I mean, of course, that's on the German government to decide. I don't think that their crypto policy has much to do with their central bank's decisions. You know, they do want to be on the forefront of innovation, and they are behind there. And so I think maybe by having more lax regulation, they can help this innovation. But I don't think the German government is very interested in speculating on Bitcoin. And so they probably thought it's a good time for them to take their profits and sold everything. Who knows? Who knows who's in charge of such a decision or how many people were behind it, but it's over now.
If you're talking about, for example, different ecosystem, what is your favorite? Ethereum, Celestia ecosystem, Cosmos? What do you prefer to use as a user?
As a user, I think that nothing has been able to beat the magic of Ethereum-based rollups, at least. Where those rollups live, of course, you know, they can live on Celestia and they have an amazing UX there. But I generally, as a user, prefer Ethereum-like experiences, and as a developer, love the Cosmos ecosystem. But this is very stereotypical. Like Cosmos ecosystem is filled with a lot of cool things for nerds, but it ends up being stolen and taken to Ethereum or other chains that can sell it better. And Cosmos just has too much of its own politics. So I don't know. I definitely prefer user experience of like Ethereum based chain. And then I think Celestia is the future. Of course, I'm building on Celestia, so I think that it really allows you to have such great user experiences on top of a cheap data availability layer. I'm betting big on Celestia.
Okay, you are a big fan of Celestia, Ethereum, and Cosmos. For example, it's all not financial advice, of course, but if I give you $1,000 right now, what coins you will buy and in proportion? Atom, Tia, and Ethereum.
I'm never touching Atom. Atom's a terrible idea. Like Cosmos as an ecosystem is great, right? But Atom is kind of useless, like as a token. I would, if I'm allowed to pick any allocation I want, and of course this is not financial advice, I think that the highest returns right now are going to be on Penumbra, which you can still get for under $1, which is crazy to me. They have such a low market cap right now that it's just ridiculous because people sold their airdrop, but it's coming back up and I think it's going to catch everyone by surprise. And then Celestia as well. I think that although it may take some time, Celestia will catch up with the technology and the apps that are being built on it, and that will reflect in the token price. So I don't know, half-half.
For example, to buy Tia, stake it, and because we can catch some airdrop, yeah? And Penumbra, it's better to stake also, or just hold and wait?
Yeah, I mean, it's best to stake in both these ecosystems. It's in Penumbra and in Celestia. But I mean, it depends. If you're trying to trade, then you probably shouldn't be staking unless you take like a liquid staking token or something like that.
You are Ethan Buchman. Forget about Ryan. You are Ethan Buchman right now. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a good politics guy. I don't know a ton of the the history behind why it got to the state it's in, but I think that somebody needs to take ownership kind of over the ecosystem and spend a large amount of money on marketing. I think it will, at the end of the day, come down to that. Spending a large amount of money on marketing. It's too fragmented right now. Nobody cares, but it's such a big deal that it could come to fruition. It needs to get out there. Word needs to get out and people need to try it and we need to work on the UX. And I think marketing is a huge part of that. It's a huge part of why Solana has been such a big success.
If you imagine that you are Mustafa, what are you gonna do? Is everything okay with Celestia right now and Mustafa doing well or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that there's only so much you can do. You have to stay relevant, and I think that we're doing a good job, or they're doing a pretty good job of doing so. It's a matter of time for these projects to come out that are building on top, to show what Celestia is capable of. If you think about it, Celestia is just another infrastructure layer. Apps need to be built on top. It hasn't even been a year yet since Celestia's came out, and there's a ton of things being built on top. The thesis will take a bit of time to play out. Tons of rollups have switched to using Celestia as a data availability layer, and I think that will continue to happen. Things like the Blobstream bridge will continue allowing for rollups to still, maintain their Ethereum connection and settle there. I don't know. I don't think I would change much right now. I think it's just a matter of time and waiting and being patient is the game.
Can you tell us your top 5 Celestia project right now? What you really liked?
Well, of course, the first one that I have to say that I love the most is Prism because, that's what we're working on. I don't know if a Block Explorer counts, but I'm really close to the guys that made the Block Explorer Selenium. But I'll say that doesn't count. So then I guess my number 2 would be Forma, because they make such great NFTs. And I think that the type of culture they're trying to cultivate their. It reminds me a lot of like Tezos NFTs and the high art culture that was surrounding that. Number 3, I guess probably Eclipse. I think that it's a really nice L3 that a lot of people are going to want to use, and Solana developers will hopefully flock to that. How many do I have? 3? I guess number 4 would be Argus Labs is doing on-chain games, which are really nice. Scott Sonardo is the founder there. They're building something called the World Engine to make on-chain games, and you need something like such a cheap DA layer. And Argus Labs, and then number 5, Astria. Penumbra isn't a Celestia project. I thought, no, Penumbra has nothing to do with Celestia. I mean, there's a IBC connection to Celestia, but no, they don't use Celestia in their infrastructure.
Okay, what the difference, how you think, between Initia, Dymension, and Astria?
Like which one you should choose?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty close to a few of those founders, so I don't really want to say too much, but just from the development point of view, I think that Astria is really killing it with their talent, and I'm excited to see how things end up. I think Dymension has a really great user experience, developer experience, but they also, I think I'm gonna stay silent to it before I get myself in trouble.
Okay, so Austria will be number 1, and that's all. From if you're talking about
Right.
this free.
Sure.
Okay. You said you like NFT. You are NFT Degan.
I haven't been recently, but I used to be. Yeah, perhaps back in the day. My first days were on Ethereum, but I don't own any NFTs anymore. But like, I joined around the time that things like Cool Cats were launching and Lazy Lions. I don't know, just during NFT bull run, I was playing a bit with them. I was writing smart contracts, but I haven't been doing anything recently. I do think that they will pop back up in a big way when the bull run comes. I don't think that any bull run has started yet. I think it's just been over leveraged that we've been seeing. We'll see. I'm excited.
My last question. If you would like to say something to my audience, I will translate it later and we will analyze what you said. So if you would like to say something or make an announcement, you can go.
I'd like to have everyone take a step back and think if they're really okay with governments and corporations being able to spy on them, if they're interested in supporting technology that can get rid of that and make the world a better place.
Okay, and last question. In Testnet, what we gonna do? We already can send message privately, or it will be something different?
Like, what should you do right now before our chat app is out?
Yeah.
Talk in real life. Like, I say that as a joke, but it's the only way right now that you can have a private conversation. I mean, I to be fair, I don't think that Signal is actively attacking its users. I know it's possible, but I think Signal is the most secure chat app right now. I put my most faith personally in WhatsApp just because they've done a lot of research in this direction. But I believe that the cryptographic assumptions that are being made there are not strong enough and they need to be changed. Like, it needs to be the default that these things are being publicly audited, and Prism enables this.
So this is the time to test your cool shit, or no, or we should wait a little bit because the instruction in GitHub it's a little bit clumsy for my audience.
It's old. Those are very old. I need to update those today.
If it's possible, Ryan, just send me the video, what we need to do, and I will add my voice, and it helps you much better.
Okay, I don't think we'll be able to do that today, but I will definitely get it out to you like within the next few days. And
yeah, you don't need to do it today because I'm doing Cosmos News and I have a lot of work, so I just add it in my Cosmos News and I just show what exactly we should do. Just I think it helps people because most of the time they don't read, they watch.
Yeah, I think so too.
Ryan, thank you very much for coming. You're a great guy. I just wish you success. You think you are doing right things. You're very smart, and I wish you will raise money. You meet Warren, and he will give you some money. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. It was great talking to you. And thanks everyone for listening.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.